it ain't going to be the last Saturday. We have had some really good people step up and help keep this show on the air, and I'm not going to name them name by name because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but there's been some good, common sense, patriotic, freedom-loving Americans step up and help fund this show. And,
well, I'm going to tell you why. Because people love you, Conn, because you speak the truth and common sense. Not only is your program common sense,
Hey, we lost you, Ed. Hang on a minute. All right, try again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, now
Sorry.
we got you. Now we got you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, basically, we have a nation of stupid people. They've been stupefied by the media. And if you really want to see the real walking dead...
Are you talking into your phone, Ed?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, periodically you just kind of fade away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now we got you.
All right. Wasted my time. Anyway, what I want to address is the level of foolishness and stupidity in this country. And a perfect example of it is the Democrats and their debate and what they really bought into. And if you want to see the real Walking Dead, go to a college campus. Go to a college and see the people who are basically intelligent but stupid. And that's not an oxymoron because they've been pumped full of this propaganda and nonsense for so long. And a lot of people in this country have bought into it. And it's just a bunch of lies.
Otherwise, you call it brainwashing, Ed. And my question is, how are they able to brainwash so many people in America? That's what it is. If you look at the hatred of Donald Trump, that's not normal. It's not normal for the general population, all of us, to hate anything to the degree that they hate Donald Trump. So
and when you ask them why, well, you ask them why, they can't explain it. They'll call him a racist, a misogynist, and all these other nonsensical words that then you ask for proof. Well, why did he do this? How did he do that? Why is he a liar? Why is he this? Why is he that? They can't explain it.
Well, you're right. Ask them what did he lie about? Well, they can't tell you what he lied about.
They may tell you to go look it up on Google or some other headline that they read, but they didn't read the article or they didn't read down to the 13th, paragraph or some such, But they don't have facts.
What I like to do, Ed, I like to quote who said it and when. I was listening to Hannity the other day, and he quoted somebody. He quoted something, and he said this on January the 7th of 2017, whatever it was. He quoted time, day, everything, and what the man said. So he's documenting what he said. Now, if you just say, well, Donald Trump raped 12 women, okay, who did he rape? What's her name? And did he go to jail? Oh, no, but he raped 12 women. Well, did he? I thought in America you were innocent until proven guilty. Now,
I'm sorry for laughing, but that's the truth. People buy that stuff. They don't have any proof, any evidence of it, but some dingbat says it and they believe it.
Well, they quote an anonymous source, Ed.
Even it's just like this woman who came forward, a week and a half ago now, and she's like, she claimed, that was the first accusation of rape that I'm aware of, that Trump raped her, assaulted her, whatever. Okay, well, where was she during the 2016 election? Okay, so, and all this time in between, she kept her mouth shut. Okay, and then all of a sudden she has a book out. Okay, and she wants to sell her book, and she makes this accusation. It was in the news for all less than 24 hours. And it was gone.
Well,
boom.
And she's saying something that she says happened 25 years ago. Look at the Judge Kavanaugh hearings where they were talking about something he did when he was 17 years old in high school. Give me a break, And then all of a sudden, all the witnesses disappeared. They couldn't produce any witnesses to it. But how many American people bought into that crap?
Well, and then I know I'm talking during Ed's time, okay, but I got to say this. So because I'm female, all right. So, you know, yeah, Trump.
Keep in mind now, we are white males, but we're not going to hold it against you because you're a female. This is the common
You
thing.
better be
for
glad you're
conscience.
sitting on the other side of the desk. Okay. Anyway, so all right. So Trump was really uncouth, stupid, and all of those things when he made that let's grope her between the legs comment, right? That came out before the election. All right. But I have to give this credit to how many females read those erotica books. And I guarantee you they would go and run them little selves up there in their little package and put it in his hand for him to grope because they would be idolizing him or some other kind of situation in their head. There are lots and lots and lots of females like that. Okay? And nobody takes that into consideration of these money-grubbing little,
But
trolls.
I want to compliment Tina for explaining that from a female point of view. See, that's great for her to do that because I can't come from a female point of view. I'm a male and proud of it.
So
But Tina can explain some of this, and thank you for that, Tina.
Well, I can't, it was just ridiculous to me when I heard it. I mean, I'm like, well, that's really uncouth of you, but that's typical of a guy, kind of think that way, and I can see him, particularly someone who has had that happen to them so many times. You get this image of, loose women who want to be around somebody that's moneyed or is famous, or they don't have their own identity. They're living through some other vision in their head, okay? And that's unfortunate that we are so dumb, some of us, not all of us, and damn sure not me. But anyway, so I just thought I'd put that out there because I don't think people ever think about that there's women just like that do that.
Yeah.
Isn't this the same woman that several years ago they had her on recorded on TV giving an interview saying that women have rape fantasies, like this is a good thing.
Oh my God. Okay, so did you hear about Bernie Sanders' essay on rape fantasies? Did you read that?
No, but I seen this woman doing exactly what I just said.
Well, but Bernie Sanders was talking about that.
Yeah, he wrote a whole essay on it, on rape and bondage and dismemberment and stuff. I think it had dismemberment. It may not be accurate there, but all kinds of crazy stuff.
Really,
in it.
really crazy stuff. And then, well, he goes from that kind of crazy to the socialist agenda that he proposes, which is just about as crazy.
We've got, if you go back in some of these people's past, and we had the psychedelic, whatever it was, we have some crazy people running on the dim side.
How can
Yeah,
anyone...
Beto O'Rourke wanted to run kids over.
Yeah.
He wanted to run people over.
About that, and then fed his wife, baby poop as avocado, as guacamole.
That's the people that want to run the country. That's the people that are saying Trump is a bad guy.
Yeah. And Beto O'Rourke fantasizes about running over kids in his car. And
this is lunacy. It's total lunacy. These people are criminals.
Well,
in their minds, maybe in real life.
If you or I said that, they'd probably think about getting us locked up some way, or put in a psychiatric ward or something somewhere. But they can say that and then run for president. That's amazing.
Right. Okay, folks, I'm going to jump and let somebody else talk.
Well, sorry, Ed, for jumping in, but you just gave me such a segue there on that Bernie Sanders thing about the rape fantasy stuff. I had to jump in and say that.
But we will.
Well, that's the synergy of this program.
Ed, we will be here next Saturday, so.
I will
Praise
not.
the Lord.
Yeah, don't lose the phone number.
Make sure you call in, because I won't be here. Keep it entertaining.
Okay. See y'all.
All right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Ed. Okay, here we are back on the line here, folks.
You got some advertisers you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, I got to talk about some advertisers here. I got some really good folks advertising on this show.
And we got another call coming in, too.
Yeah, it's, okay, real quick. Chris Copeland at A1 Gunworks.
I got that 254-721 2773. I'll give it again in a minute.
Okay, he's out there at Academy on Highway 95 between Academy and Temple, but he's in Academy on the east side of the highway there in a long kind of a tan building.
And
He is a gun mechanic A number 1. So if y'all have a 1911 needs a little work on it or something,
or any other gun for that matter,
go out there and
custom
see
work.
old Chris. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's open Monday through Wednesday, and on Friday from 9:30 to 5. Excuse me. And Saturday 9:30 to 2.
Okay, real quick before I go to Mike, Extreme Hose and Hydraulics is out there at 5300 South General Bruce Drive. That's on the access road between Belton and Temple. If you've got a hydraulic hose that's getting old and worn out and busted and leaking, just take it out there to Extreme Hose, and they'll fix that thing for you quick, fast, and in a hurry. I've done business with them for quite a while. Well, for years, I guess. Their phone number there, doggone, I'm getting choked up talking about Extreme Hose and Hydraulics. I guess they're just really good folks. At any rate, their phone number is 231-3403. That's 254-231-3403. Now, they work on hydraulic hoses, cylinders, all kind of hydraulic things. They've got adapters, and they've got all kind of hose accessories and things like that. They've been in business 20 years, so they know how to do it. They've been doing it for 20 years. Anyway, if you need some hydraulic hoses repaired, take them out there to 5300 South General Bruce Drive in Temple. Actually, between Temple and Belton. Give them folks a shout, because they'll sure help you with your hydraulic hose work. Okay, here we are back on the thing with Mike. Mike, what do you got to allow today?
Well, I didn't get to listen to the Democrats and their little shindig the other day.
Oh, you didn't miss
sure
You
you
didn't
did.
miss anything.
Well, I listened to Hannity and Rush. You know, they did little excerpts from it. But, you know, those people, they have got to be a brick short of a full load.
Yes, amen.
There ain't no way that they're going to give up their cars, their airplanes, and their mode of transportation.
They're milk and
They're
butter.
going to keep theirs. That's right, milk and butter. You bet.
Hey, while
They're
they're
not going to give
taxing,
that up.
while they're taxing the rich, are they going to pay extra taxes too? Can they start now?
Good luck on that.
Yeah. They going to pay for any of these programs they want?
Well, Mike, I got a question for you. I know that you are a good, just common sense, average, common American, patriotic, freedom-loving guy. How on earth would you ever consider voting for a Democrat, given what they're standing for today? How could you do that, Mike?
Well, I couldn't. I'd probably laugh myself silly going all the way over to the polls to watch these other clowns do it.
Yeah. It's
I sure wouldn't do it.
Well, I couldn't bring myself to do that, but what really concerns me, Mike, is how many people have been brainwashed through the, free this and free that, free education, free everything.
Oh, yeah, I know.
How can you be stupid enough to believe that any society can survive by doing that? You're going to destroy the society we live in. And
Yep.
I wouldn't care, Mike, except I live here too, and I want my kids to live here. and you live here, and that's why you and me and some other folks like us are really concerned about the idiocy that's coming out of the Democrat Party.
Well, 25 years ago, I was working 3 or 4 high school boys. They had graduated, and they had driver's license, so I was letting them drive my pickup, and I'd send them off to do a job. I'd draw them a map and give them, write down the instructions, because I probably wouldn't be there, when they came to work, and they couldn't read or write. They couldn't read a map.
Well,
And that was 25 years ago.
what are we producing out of our high schools and our colleges? That's what scares the living crap out of me, Mike. Is what product are we turning out? If
we're not turning out anything.
If any manufacturer turned out a product like we're turning out of our education system, that manufacturing company would go out of broke before you could say don't do it.
That's right.
So how are we allowing our education system to destroy our youth? You know, they're brainwashing our young people. They're, you know, putting all kinds of strange things. Right now, in the little kids, 4th, 5th grade or something, they're trying to teach them to be transgenders. You know, where's all that kind of stuff coming from? And who is directing this? You know, who's the sponsor of this kind of thinking?
And all of this is tied together. It's all woven together.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
all coming from the same place for the
You
same
betcha.
reason.
Well, it just makes me think and say, Satan's alive and well. He's still out there.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah.
buddy.
Mike, you be careful out there. And
All righty.
don't lose the phone number.
Oh, no. I tried to get in earlier, but the line was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have a second line, but it doesn't
I
work
was
too well.
I was really impressed.
Well, yeah, I might say I sure do like that cap old Mike is wearing.
You bet, I do too. And you know, I've not had anybody say anything bad or derogatory to me about it.
Me neither.
You know, that has surprised me, Mike. I was in Louisiana the other day, and I had people walk up and compliment me on this cap. I was at a restaurant in San Antonio the other day, and everybody says, don't wear that cap in San Antonio. Well, I was in a restaurant and had 2 different people come up to me in the restaurant and thank me for wearing this cap. So I'm not sure where all those Trump haters are, but they're not all here.
No. Well, that's all the Democrat way.
We've got 2 or 3 of these beautiful red embroidered Trump 2020 caps, Make America Great Again, and have Trump's autograph embroidered on it with the 45th president on the brim. So we got 2 or 3 of them left. So if anybody wants them, let us know. They're $35 a piece. And all the funds go toward keeping the show on the air.
Yeah, what we do is we buy them for $25, we sell them for $35.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not getting rich off of it, but the money goes to this to keep this show on the air. And you know, I keep saying it, but I want to say it one more time: how much I appreciate those people who have stepped up in the last week and given what it takes to support this show and keep it on the air. I've got some of the best followers out there, or callers, or whatever you want to call them, supporters. Boy, there's a lot of good people left in this country.
Yeah, lots of them.
I know there's some sorry son of a guns, but there is a lot of good people out there.
Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. You have a good rest
Well,
of the weekend.
when you come by the next time, bring me a cap. After the 3rd, that's when I get paid.
I'll do it.
All right, I'll make a note of it.
Okay, thank you, Mike. You be careful out there. You know, I had a discussion in Cameron with a fellow that was just very, very progressive. Every time I quoted a fact, his response was, I don't believe it. You know, he could not debate a fact. All he could do was say, I don't believe it. Anyway, I had about a 30-minute discussion with him, and it was kind of discouraging to realize that there are people out there that have been so brainwashed to hate Donald Trump that they can't carry on an honest debate with you. But anyway, I left there and came back by, and I stopped where Mike works, and I had a little discussion with Mike there, and I sure did appreciate that his point of view and his conversation, because he just made me realize that there are good common people out there with some good common sense. So, and I think a lot of people that listen to this show are just like Mike and Kevin and other good callers that we've got here today.
I don't know how many of our listeners, I would assume quite a few of them are in the age bracket where that they would remember who Stalin was. He came after Lenin, and that Roosevelt and Churchill had a meeting with Stalin, and they were trying to get Stalin on board to agree to fight against Hitler. And Churchill turned around and said, God is on the side of the Allies. And Stalin turned around and rebutted and said, Satan is on my side. He's a good communist.
Yeah.
And Stalin did a lot of flipping. He flipped back and forth on his positions and how he wanted to market himself throughout his political career, and it did not serve him well in the end.
No, it didn't turn out too well for Mr.
No.
Stalin or his wife.
But he's pretty much like the liberal Democrats, and he's selling the same kind of stuff. It's just been repackaged.
Well, and that's why I'm saying the biggest enemy we face today in America is the enemy within.
Well, and people don't realize that socialism and communism are basically the same thing. It's just the beginnings of. It's the budding of the communism.
The definition of extreme socialism is communism. And we have a growing number of people in this country that are promoting socialism.
Progressivism is not going forward. It's socialism.
And look at Bernie Sanders. How on earth can Bernie Sanders be a legitimate candidate for president given what he's promoting in this country? How come he hasn't been ridden out of town on a rail?
I don't know, but he's still running basically the same campaign he ran with Clinton. Clinton and him were packaged different. Hey, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Tony for coming across that.
Yeah, I got to thank Tony because I have heard that before, but it's been years ago, and that is so good. I like that. At any rate, there's so much more to talk about. I'm not covering all that I'm supposed to cover today, but
I wanted to talk about McCarthy.
But we're having a good time doing it. So, I want to go back to Joe McCarthy. He is still the butt of jokes and a lot of criticism for him calling out the communists that were within our government back in the 50s, I guess it was. But since all that criticism and people laughing at him, I read an article in Reader's Digest once that said Joe McCarthy was right. He was dead on right. And if you look at the progress that the communists and the socialists have made in America, he was right. Joe McCarthy might be criticized roundly, but he was right. When we need to recognize the truth of what the man was saying. Well, okay, here's Raymond. Raymond, what you got up your sleeve?
Yes, sir. First of all, Mr. Tatum, I just want to tell you thank you for your service to the community and informing people of how great this United States of America is. And I just want to make one comment. And I know it's old news, but it's important news. If everybody recalls, when President Trump was nominated president of the United States, there was a big uproar in this country. They had all these people out, thousands and thousands of them with them vagina caps on and making all these statements and everything. Well, those same people that everybody saw out there, believe this or not, they're going to be all voting for the Democratic Party nominees when the time comes. This time's going to come here soon enough. So we need to step up and get all together, and don't forget this, and get Mr. Trump back in the office so he can finish his business at hand. Because if we don't, and this community does wind up with a Democratic president, everything's just going to go to hell. And one more thing I wanted to say, the only thing the Democratic Party didn't have in their debate was Bozo the Clown. And another thing, too, the Democratic Party don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. You have a good day, man.
Well, I'm glad you were able to tell us exactly how you felt.
I'm glad you said that, Raymond, instead of me. Anyway, Raymond, you be careful out there.
He's always so poised.
One thing I want to bring up is you hear a lot of reports of, we have an anonymous report of Donald Trump raped somebody, or we have an anonymous report of Donald Trump did something else. What I really like to do is I like to quote somebody and kind of define where I heard it, because I didn't hear it just on across the back fence. So many people are so dependent on our cell phones, they can't think for themselves. They have to listen to what the cell phone tells them to think. Anyway, I'd like to quote John Marini. He is with Claremont Institute, and he was on, I think, on Glenn Beck. No, he was on Life, Liberty, and Levin. I do watch them on Sunday evening, Sunday night. Mark Levin is, I think, pretty straightforward. And when he talks, I listen. Anyway, this guy made the statement, several very wise statements. I hope you were all able to see that interview. Anyway, number one, he said one such statement was that credentials are not the same as knowledge. What a fair statement. We tend to look up to people who have credentials. They have a master's degree or whatever degree. They got credentials, but they've never done a dad blame thing. They never been on a horse, never got throwed, never had to get back on. All of their supposed to be knowledge is connected to their credentials. Well, what if those credentials and that knowledge was false? So I think that is a very, very good statement. Credentials are not the same as knowledge. He brought up the fact that politics of budget control. That is true. They're using the budget control to influence politics. Another one is controlling people through budgetary power, welfare, etc. And that is very true. They're controlling people with budgetary power. Someone said once, the only power a politician has is the power to spend money. And that is so true, and it is so evident today. That's why we borrow $1 million per minute in this country. Before I finish that, let me go to Jim, see what he got on his mind. Jim, what do you think?
We talking with me, Conn?
Yeah, are you out there?
Okay, this is Tim, T-I-M.
I'm sorry, Tim. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I just wondered, how do you kill a snake?
Well, I kill one today with a stick, but normally I'd rather just shoot him.
How about cutting the head off?
Well, that'll work too.
That's right. If the Republicans would do that and cut the head off the snake, all this mess would clear up.
Well, that is very, very true. But I learned a lesson about snakes. I knew a fellow one time named Jim Tier, who was the department head of wildlife management at A&M. He had a rattlesnake down on the Matagorda management area.
Hey, Tim, can you turn your radio down, please? We got a lot of feedback.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, old Jim killed this big old rattlesnake and reached down and picked up the snake's head.
Oh, it'll bite you.
And the snake's head bit him in the finger. And
right.
So Jim, because it was 50 miles to the hospital, he just took his machete, put his finger on the stump, and cut his finger off.
Oh, crap. Well, you know, if we'd get rid of the head of the snake, and you know who that is, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, if we'd get the Clintons, this whole mess would be over with.
Tim, I have brought that up before, and you're singing my song.
That's right.
You think about, what was his name? That controlled Chicago.
Al Capone.
Al Capone totally controlled Chicago. He owned every official in Chicago.
That's
now,
right.
My question is, did Hillary inherit his power?
His talents?
Just look at the people connected to Chicago.
Well, that's
Bill
true.
Ayers.
But all that money didn't go to Iran.
No.
That money was scraped back by Hillary and Obama, and they've paid so many people off that it's pathetic. But if they would go after them for the crimes they've committed, this whole mess would end.
Well,
yeah, the people would be
the
too
reason I
scared to do
bring up
anything.
Al Capone is Al Capone owned all the politicians. Does
Yeah.
does Hillary and her organization does she own, either through threat or payoff, does she own how many politicians in this country?
Well,
Why
quite a bit.
why did Jeff Sessions never indict Hillary Clinton?
That's right.
Had she scared him off, or did she buy him off? Which was it?
One or the other. They either commit Arkansas or
Arkansas.
something.
Hey,
There's
Ted,
too many people been killed because of them, and it's a sad situation.
Well, you're right, talking about cutting the head off a snake. If we do not punish that bunch for their bad behavior, and I know I sound like a broken record, but when
that's
you
true.
reward bad behavior, what do you expect to get more of?
You're going to get more of it.
Well, if we don't put them in jail for their actions, then what can we expect future politicians to do?
That's right. But how come they're not in jail?
Well, that's my point. How many people does she own are scared?
Quite a bit.
Because the evidence against her is so obvious. Why are we talking about Donald Trump lied to somebody 37 years ago, and we're not talking about Hillary Clinton and her selling our 20% of our uranium to our enemies?
That's right. That's right.
You know, so many things about the Clintons that are so obvious, a blind man could see it. So why are we talking about Donald Trump lied to somebody 37 years ago or something like that?
Well, it's just a diversion, trying to put things off. But anyway, Conn, I got to go. I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, I appreciate your call, and thanks a lot for getting me stirred up.
Me too.
Okay. You be careful out there.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All
you know,
right.
he's the first one I've heard say what I've always thought, that they took that money and pilfered it, for themselves,
Yeah.
Well,
how do you think she got from zero to $650 million?
Well, a lot of that money was for the Haitians that they never got,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, all kind of.
But I'm saying all that Iran money. I'm like, where did that money go? I cannot believe they just gave that money away. They had to take some of that and pilfer it.
Okay, I want to go back to quoting Mr. John Marini. Some of the points that he brought up that were so on track. He brought up the politics of budget control, controlling people through the budget power being welfare, food stamps, all of the free things that they're giving away. They're controlling the people. Now what do they want to do? They want to give free college to everybody. They want to give a free house to everybody. They want to give a free cell phone to everybody. They want to give a free health care to everybody. They want to control the population of the United States through budgetary power. The fourth thing he brought up was real leaders govern for the common good, not for the bureaucratic good. What a true statement. A real leader governs for the public good, not for their good and their bureaucratic good. What a true statement. Another thing he brought up was have leaders in Congress given up and allowed a fourth branch of government to take over. Very, very good question. Another statement he made is, has organized information is not the same thing as knowledge. And he's so true. Organized information is not the same thing as knowledge. Now, let me explain organized information. Recently, all the heads, or the talking heads, on every TV channel, ABC, CBS, NBC, they all made the same statement, I think, about Trump. They made the same statement, the same way, with the same words. I mean, it was verbatim identical by all of the channels, except Fox.
Can I interrupt you just 1 minute?
Yes.
So, We have an alarm. Hang on, folks, just a minute. We're trying to figure out what that is.
Oh, your phone's ringing too.
Okay. Anyway, so there's 1,500 newspapers, 1,100 magazines, 9,000 radio stations, 1,500 TV stations, and 2,400 publishers, all owned by 6 corporations and 272 executives. They control 90% of what 277 million Americans see, hear, and read.
Yeah, and it begs the question when you hear all of the stations say the exact same thing, the exact same way, with the exact same words. It begs the question: is someone handing them a script? And
every morning in an email.
and who wrote the script? We're being controlled by whoever writes the script. At least our information is. Here's Lawrence going to explain this for me.
Well, hi, Conn. I don't know if I can explain all that to you, but I know one person that we need to get rid of, and that's George Soros.
Yeah, look out, Lawrence, you're going to get me started. I don't know how he has lived as long as he has.
I mean, this man here is literally putting every dime he's got into the Democrats and trying to corrupt this country as much as he can. And I can't believe that people just fall for all this stuff, Conn. It's ridiculous.
And look at, when you see thousands, and I mean thousands of people leaving Honduras and coming to the Texas border, the first question I asked was, who's feeding them? When you've got thousands of people walking that far through the desert, whatever, somebody has got to be furnishing a water truck and a food truck.
That's George Soros.
That's
He's
George
the man
Soros.
that's doing it. That's right.
Well, the next question you have to ask is why. He wants to destroy the United States of America. That is his goal. And
Conn, does that man have a dual citizenship?
I think
so. Yeah.
I don't know why it hasn't been revoked.
Yeah, I know that. That's what just irks me. I just can't believe it.
Well, how much power does he have is the question, and where does his power come from? Because if he did not have the kind of power that Al Capone used to have, then he would have already been indicted.
Yeah, that's for sure. But Conn, one thing that I want real bad, I want one of your hats.
Okay, all right.
And can I just send you a check and you mail it to me?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll just come by and pick it up.
Yeah, I can. Where do you live?
I live in Nolanville.
In Nolanville. Well, that ain't very far from me.
One of us can get you the hat or meet you someplace.
I'd love to meet you or Conn, Tina, or whatever. I just love you people so much. And
we appreciate that.
Love what you're doing for the community. And I wish to hell this show was going nationwide, because you could sure wake up a lot of folks, I guarantee it.
Well, I will sure be willing to just bring you a cap in Nolanville. It ain't that far, and I don't mind driving that far for a good man.
Lawrence, when we get off the air here with you, if you'll hang on, Tony can take your number, and we'll give you a call and make arrangements to get you that cap that you want.
Yeah, that sounds fabulous. And what do I do? Just donate $50? Will that take care of it?
Whatever you'd like to, sir. Thank you. The caps are $35. Yes, sir.
My pleasure, Tina. And God bless you all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you for your support.
All right, you hang on the line, and Tony will get your number for you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, folks, here we are back on the air with Common Sense with Conn. Let me give you 2 phone numbers. One is the one to call in, which is 773-1400. The other is a number that you can call and get hooked up with my wife if you would like to sponsor the show or help us in some way to keep us on the air. Now, that number is 300-1885. It's area code 254-300-1885. 300-1885. That'll get you hooked up with my wife, and she'll take your information, and we will certainly appreciate you. All the help we can get is what we have to stay on the air. Okay, folks, where was I at? I get these really good phone calls from really good people that have a really good conversation, and I forget about all these notes that I got written down here.
And you have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to finish your thing.
Yeah. Now, pray tell me, how did 2 hours go by that fast?
Because we talk a lot.
Well, I guess I have to admit that I enjoy doing what I do, and I just sincerely hope that we can say something on this air that makes people think. And I hope that we can speak the truth about things that wake up a few people and make them think about what's going on in this country. My objective for this show is to save this country or help save it. And I know I can't save it, but if I influence the thinking of one person that influences 10 others, then that's what I hope to do. Because there's so much truth out there that is being hidden by so much socialist lies, communist lies. I don't know what you want to call
Repetitive brainwashing dialogue, propaganda.
It's people that hate this country. And like John Voight made the statement that I think his granddaughter came home from college and made the statement to him, the Constitution is crap. Well, she said it to the wrong fellow when she said it to John Voight.
Yeah.
But it just kind of demonstrates some of the stuff that is being taught in our universities. Are we teaching young people to hate America? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I mean, when you have people in Congress who are siding with rogue terrorist nations over, their own country, and they're not being expelled from Congress, that's a problem. You got Keith on the phone, and
here's Keith. Keith,
minutes.
You got to talk quick because we're fixing to run out of time. What's on your mind today?
Keith, you're all broken up, dear. We can't hear you, Keith. I'm sorry.
Keith, you got
okay.
Can you call? Wait, we can hear you now. Try again.
All right. I used to take my two sons to the Arkansas Crater Diamond Mine, and we went numerous times. Well, the last time we went, they had yellow tape around the perimeter of the diamond mine. And I asked them what's going on. This is when Clinton was governor, and they said he sold all the rights to a company in Canada. So they're doing the same thing they did with the uranium deal, only they're on a bigger playing field. So I didn't know if anybody knew that or not.
I didn't know it, and I'm glad you brought it up.
What's
Keith.
the name of the diamond mine?
That's the state of Diamond Mine. It's a park in Arkansas. It's a volcano, and people find diamonds, and they get to keep what they find.
Yeah, it's a good tourist. Was that owned by the who owned it before the Clintons gave it away?
Well, the state that was inside the perimeter, and then they policed police tape around the perimeter. They said don't go past that police tape because that has been sold or credited to the company in Canada that the Clintons made a deal with them.
You're trying to say one more example of the Clintons selling out America.
That's their MO. That's where they get into minerals. And you remember when Clinton first got into office? Well, his wife set up that hit list. She had a henchman from Arkansas. He was creating a hit list. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And they called her?
Yeah.
They called her?
How many people, are all of a sudden got a suicidal tendency when they got around Hillary Clinton? I don't know.
Well, we got about 30 seconds.
Keith,
I just wanted to...
I appreciate you bringing that up, and if you will, let's talk about that again next Saturday because people need to know these kinds of things.
All right.
We need to know what kind of crooks they are.
And everybody, I
Exactly.
won't be here next week, so we hope that you have a very happy 4th of July and be safe.
Yeah, Tina's gonna be gone, so y'all got to call in and help me have this show.
Keep him on his toes, guys. We'll see you next week.